being able to put some numeric value to how it is that you're feeling, that gut instinct when you say to yourself, what's my relationship with money? Is it toxic or am I like super comfortable? And then being able to craft your goal there. If you're sitting at a 1, I you don't need your goal to be like, it needs to be a 10. No, let's start with, can we get ourselves to a 3?
Welcome to the Ready, Set, Coach podcast, the podcast for coaches by coaches, just like our community.
We're here for real talk on what it takes to thrive in the coaching world, plus an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at coaches making it happen.
Are you ready, Lex?
I'm Set M.
Let's coach.
Hello. We are back, and today you have Lex, and with me is Melissa Mittelstadt. Welcome to the show. Let's dive in right away with, what do you do, Melissa? Who are you? Tell us your social security. Where in the world do you live? Tell us everything in one beat.
I'll start with my social security number.
Perfect. Pen and paper out, everyone.
Everyone. My name is Melissa Mittelstadt, as you said. I am a financial consultant for solopreneurs who are DIYing their books and want to make more sense of money. And they're just kind of sick of winging it with their finances.
And a little bit of context, and to let me brag a bit. Melissa is inside of the Ready, Set, Coach community, and we've had the opportunity to have her run a workshop, which is now in the on-demand library plug. She did a whole workshop on money mapping, and I got to witness just an ounce of her brilliance. And money seemingly always tends to be a topic that brings up a lot amongst entrepreneurs. It tends to be one, I'd say, early on in people's careers. I see a lot of negative emotions attached. So how did you find your way into dedicating yourself into a career that focuses on, the word that scares so many people or brings up so much emotion?
Yeah, I had a fickle little journey with money myself. That journey started. So I went to college in the era of you can get a free pizza in exchange for filling out a form for a credit card. So this was legal in my day. And so of course I was like, yeah, credit cards, use them. Student loans, get as much as I can. And then I ended up going to school for 7 years. I got my bachelor's degree and then I went back to school. It was to get an AA degree in interpreting. And so I come out of 7 years of school with a fuck ton of debt. And I get my first real job after that. And I was like, oh, great, a paycheck. And then I was like, oh, like that's not paying.
That's it?
That's not
The
paying for
government took
my
how much?
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
that's not paying for my life. Excuse me. Like, I did all the right things, you know? I went to school and I got the job and I just like followed this path that I thought would just inevitably lead me to financial freedom. I don't know. So at that moment, I recall sitting on this green, like velvety couch inside the staff lounge. I worked inside of a high school. And I'm like just bawling my eyes out with my colleagues. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? Um, and luckily, one of my colleagues was kind enough to say, hey, maybe it's that you don't understand managing money. And she was right. I didn't. I didn't. We didn't talk about it in my household growing up. I didn't get any information really about money until real world slapped me across the face. And I was like, all right, here we go. I've got to figure this, I've got to figure this out. So I buried myself in all the books. I got, the podcasts, like everything I could get my hands on. I love spreadsheets. So I just like geeked out about that, got myself inside of spreadsheets. And within 3 years, I was able to get myself out of that debt. I was able to save $15,000 toward my wedding. And it really changed everything about money for me. So not only do I have that personal finance side, but I have run a small business for 16 years, and those small business finances, I have been doing those, spreadsheet for most of the time, accounting software for, a bit of time after that, but so when I think about money, I think about the whole ecosystem of our money, our business finances, and our personal finances, so that's what brought me to where I am today as a financial consultant and really, helping folks think about the whole flow of money through business and life.
Okay, wow. There's so many places I want to go. First, also, is there a green velvet chair behind you right now? Because
Why, yes, there is.
that's just like a signal of your life. And the fact green is also money, which is wealth, and you're wearing green. I'm just saying there's all the signs there. I want to go back to that moment where your colleague called you out.
Mhm.
What did that feel like? Because, I mean, were you just like immediately accepting of that? Did you feel scared? Did you feel angry? Talk to me about the motion of really having that aha moment of, wow, despite 7 years of schooling and having a big girl job, I don't know how to manage money, which is supposed to be kind of the cornerstone of what runs the world, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Luckily, I'm a pretty direct person, so I was not offended, but I was taken aback. Like, it was as if she had said something so true that it shook my insides and was like, "That was it. Ding, ding, ding." My whole body felt that. Um, and I don't know, I can't remember if it was like I jumped into action immediately or if it took some time for that to wash over me to be like, "Yep, now it's on me. Now it's
Yeah.
on me to do the figuring." Um, and, I don't think I ever properly thanked her for that because what a brave move to say that to somebody. She could have very well just let me kind of keep crying and continue on, but the fact that she said that really changed my life.
Okay, so for someone who doesn't have the friend or really isn't as receptive as someone like you, what are the steps to be able to begin to receive that kind of information, receive that, hey, relationship or skill sets around money might be the thing that's holding me back. Like, where does one even start to grapple with that realization and relationship?
Yeah, I often ask people to kind of create some space. Money is so layered and complex, and we've got our habits, such as like maybe our spending habits, plus our emotions, all of these things wrapped up into money. Um, when really money itself is quite a neutral object, right? It's just like cotton linen makes this physical thing. So I ask folks to try to really, if you can get some separation between all of those complexities and just take a step back and ask yourself, what is my relationship with money? And see what bubbles up because you're not going to be open to hearing things. You're not going to be open to recommendations, suggestions, signs, things from the universe coming at you unless you've said, "Oh yeah, my relationship with money isn't great. So where could I even go next?" Right? If you've just got this wall guard up, head in the sand, avoidance mentality, not much is gonna get through.
Okay. So where does one go when okay, they finally have reached a moment where they're hearing that. It's setting in. Okay, hi, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me. How does one begin to
Taylor.
to rework that relationship that I'm gonna guess took a very long time and has a lot of history behind it?
hmm Um, okay, so we'll skip the obvious of hire a financial consultant, right? So we'll wait to go down that path, but um if you start like I've got a couple books that I absolutely am obsessed with, which in fact, I just created that list today. So I would love to share those books with you here and now. Um, The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. It's an incredible book. It talks about why money was created. Money was created for equity. It was to create a more equitable, and then what we've done with money obviously is not is not that, but she really just dives into like what the soul of money is. Get Rich, Lucky Bitch by Denise Duffield Thomas. She's just got a lot of great playful throw spaghetti at the wall things to dig up some of those money stories. Like what did we think about money when we were a child? What did we hear? What did we see? And it helps kind of shuffle through some of those things, dig things up for you. The Having by Soo Young Lee. This book, it's a little more abstract, but when I tell you that this book rattled me in a way I have not been rattled in a long time. It's just unbelievable. And then You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And, she's just got this quick wit humor about it. She's got a lot of exercises in there. But that's where I would start by reading books, listening to podcasts, really start taking in new ideas about money instead of staying stuck in a story that you may be holding on to from a young age.
And should there be a goal that we're working towards? Like what, in your opinion, like should our relationship be with money? Like is it okay for it to be forever complicated? Should it be, I don't know, like walk me through how I even like have a goal there, how I wrap my mind around what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think that's such a good question. I can just kind of see your wheels spinning a little bit there. Um, It is a very abstract concept to think about. So what I start with my clients is I put it on a scale from it's toxic to I'm so comfortable. And I ask for somewhere along that continuum, whether you want to use a 1 to 5 scale or a 1 to 10 or whatever feels right for you. But being able to put some numeric value to how it is that you're feeling, that gut instinct when you say to yourself, what's my relationship with money? Is it toxic or am I like super comfortable? And then being able to craft your goal there. If you're sitting at a 1, I w- you don't need your goal to be like it needs to be a 10. No, let's start with can we get ourselves to a 3? And what would that look like? Is that opening credit card statements when you get them instead of like, "Ooh, I'll do that later"? Or is it setting money dates where you're like, "I'm gonna review my finances once a week for 5 minutes." I'm going, just kind of doing some small steps to move you along that continuum, and then you can continue to create different goals based on the answers that you get throughout that journey.
If you're listening to this show and not in the Ready Set Coach community, what are you doing?
Seriously, our members have found clients, collaborators, accountability buddies, and best friends inside our community. It's super simple to apply. Hit pause and visit ReadySetCoachCommunity.com today.
See you inside. Cheers. Okay, here's another one, especially considering most of the people listening to the show, I assume, are interested in either starting a business or have one. And
Mhm.
a big topic that I find to be, or I have found and still find to be uh, very connected and confusing and like where's the line, especially with how taxes are done, is personal versus business finances.
Mhm.
Does our relationship with one affect the other? Should we be taking two separate approaches? Are they transferable? Where should we start? When you're talking about, having a money date, is it with our personal? Is it with our business bank account? I guess for someone listening,
Mhm.
is there a suggested best path of how to grapple that and how to separate or combine church and state?
Mhm. The I I say this when I think about how separated our finances have to be. So if you're thinking about starting a business or your early stages, and if you still have your business and personal finances mixed up, hear me now when I say, let's get those separated out. Get them into separate accounts. Now, you don't have to get an official business account, like go to Chase and apply for official business checking account. You don't have to. It can be a secondary personal account that you open up for free at your credit union, but get those flowing separately. Now, those have to be separate, but the interconnectedness between how those finances impact each other will never go away because we are in business to sustain our lives.
Mhm.
And the important piece you had said, like, well, what do I start? Do I start my business or do I start my personal? And inevitably, you've got one place or the other that feels more confusing or more complex or more icky. And that's the place that you want to start to even move the needle a little bit in one of those. So if it is your business finances where you're like, I don't know, I have money that just like comes in and then I like give myself some and then I spend it, maybe it's starting there in your business finances and really understanding our numbers because our numbers are what can guide us to make decisions in our business. So having access to like seeing our financials, maybe that's where you need to start. Or maybe you're like, well, my business finances they don't seem to be a hot mess, but then every time I dump money into my personal, it's just like gone. And now I have no clue what's going on there. So now I'm just siphoning more money out of my business. And it feels just like this cycle of doom, right? Well, then start in your personal finances and start to uncover some of that. Well, why does it feel like it's being siphoned out? So are both equally as important? 100%. But trying to say, oh, I'm going to tackle everything all at once, don't do that to yourself.
Don't do that. I'm completely blanking you guys on what you call it. Is it a metaphor? We're gonna go with that for now, and then you can correct me, Melissa. Something similar that I love to attest this to, and it's ringing true. It's like if you walk into a gym for the first time ever and you walk up to the weight rack, it is highly unlikely you can pick up a 100-pound weight and start benching like 100 times off the bat. You need to
Mhm.
usually start smaller,
Mhm.
practice and build up to it. And I think that becomes something that, or, running, right? Usually you don't start off by running a marathon. You have to
Mhm.
start small, you have to start somewhere. And a lot of what I'm hearing is it's the same case with money, just like most things in life. You have to start somewhere, build
Mhm.
that muscle, build that up until we peel back all the layers of the onion. Now I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about Shrek. Okay, here we go.
Yes. 100%. I when you were talking about this, I have this vision. I absolutely love Pilates. Reformer Pilates classes are just like my absolute jam. Now, I travel a lot. I'm a nomad, and so I don't get to go to reformer studios very often. There's one place I land November and December. I've got access to the Pilates studio, and I go hog wild. But my body is so sore because I have not been doing it pretty much the rest of the year. And then I get there, I'm like, oh, I can't even walk. Like, why do I do this to myself? I needed to work my way in instead of booking 5 classes a week. I should have booked one, let my body warm up to it, and then get back into what I love. But yes, exactly that. If we try to go from 0 to 100, we burn ourselves out, we frustrate ourselves, and then our starting point is is now even further back.
You could injure yourself and then not be able to do Pilates at all. Not speaking from experience, very much speaking from experience. Yeah. So, okay, where does a financial consultant now enter the mix and when? Maybe we start with when. At what point should that be, oh, like, you know, maybe I should like get help on this, especially when you're a newer business owner and there's so many things you need to invest in and learn, like, a lawyer. Is it a business coach? Is it a financial coach? So the first
Hmm.
question to narrow it in is when does someone like you come into play or when should they?
Yeah. Depending on your confidence in whether it's spreadsheets that you want to start off in, whether it's a software that you want to start off in, if you have the confidence to be like, yeah, I can, YouTube and go get something to like get myself through, um, as you're trying to figure out whether it is you hire the marketing, sales, business coach, whatever that is, then yes. And the number one reason that small businesses fail is cash flow, period. So if we don't have an understanding of our cash flow. So money isn't just, oh, it comes into my business, I pay my expenses, and then I pay myself, right? It's so much more than that. And if that concept is like, ooh, yeah, cash flow, if that concept isn't something that you feel comfortable with, then you can bring in a financial consultant to then help you work through what those systems are going to be inside of your business. One thing that I'd like to make clear is oftentimes people will ask me, are you a bookkeeper? And I am not. There is quite a difference between hiring somebody that is a done with you service, which is what I do, a done with you service, and getting you set up into a system, get you organized, get you to a place where you're not winging it anymore. You're feeling confident about money. You can talk about it in a way that feels good and makes sense. So then, if and when you want to hire a bookkeeper for somebody to take care of your books, then you can do so seamlessly because you've got the language that you can communicate with them. You've got an idea of what kind of information you need to have your eye on and what that information is telling you, and you're able to interpret those numbers. So, those are very separate things when it comes to doing it yourself and then when you're ready to hand your books off to someone else.
And thank you for bringing up that comparison. I want you to talk me through one. It doesn't need to be, a long definition, but I could imagine another question that maybe some of our listeners are have, not are have, do have. The difference between a financial consultant like you and a financial advisor. I'm like, let's go classic, like a Marilyn Lynch advisor.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for asking that. So, a financial advisor, I'm going to go with my role as a financial consultant in regard to your personal finances. I am like the runway to get you to the financial advisor. The financial advisor is someone who can talk to you about, well, what kind of stocks do you want to invest in? And what type of funds are you looking at? And let's talk about exactly how much you're going to be putting into each of those funds and really do like future mapping out of your wealth with you. That is a financial advisor. They hold like Series 6, Series 7. They've got special certifications that allow them to work with inside the stock market. I The certification that I hold is an accreditation, accredited financial counselor, and I'm the one who says, all right, let's talk about how much money you have after you pay your personal expenses and make sure that you get things in life that you value. How much money are we talking now to save to start getting you to a place for retirement? So I help you build the runway of understanding what money is available to use. How do you keep track of that money? And then financial advisor would be the step after that.
You just illustrated that beautifully, and I love the ramp up. And for anyone listening who everything where she's saying right now feels overwhelming or new. Something that I didn't know, because my family, we have a financial advisor, but when we started the process of looking for one a while back, I did not understand the thresholds that a lot of them have, meaning you have to have X amount of money in your bank account to give to a financial advisor to invest. And
Hmm.
usually you don't just wake up with that lump sum in your bank account.
Yeah.
So I think
Hmm.
working with someone like you to get there, to build that wealth, to get to a point where you can even talk about excess capital to invest, etc.,
Hmm.
is a really, really important and powerful resource that I don't think enough people know exists, to be fair. So hopefully
Well,
everyone
thank
hears the
you.
show and now they know.
Yeah, we are we are singing it from the rooftops here.
Yes, we are. And so I know again we're barely scratching the surface, guys. Melissa, where's the best place for people to go to connect with you and learn more about all the different ways they can work with you?
I'm most active on Instagram and Threads. That is underscore Melissa Mitt. And then, of course, my website has a plethora of information, melissamitt.com.
And of course, inside the Ready Set Coach community. Plug, plug.
Find
Okay.
me on the coaches directory.
There you go. Last thing that we task everyone with, and I'm totally putting you on the spot. I did not prep you for this, but we like to, in true coaching fashion, give everyone homework. So, this could be the one thing. This is a hard, you can go as niche as you want or as broad. Like the one thing you want everyone to do today, the one thing you wish everyone would do today, but any sort of homework you want to give to the entrepreneurs and coaches listening here today.
I'm going to go right back to where we said, where do people start? So if you haven't asked yourself lately, what's my relationship with money? I want you to do that. And I want you to write that scale out, toxic to comfortable. And I want you to put down that number. Where are you? Because then you're going to know what a next step could look like.
Beautiful. And I'm going to underscore that, you guys. If you did that exercise 5 years ago, it's time to do it again. I think that's a question you need to routinely visit because, like most things in mindset and relationships, it's easy to default. It's easy to slide. Maybe you reach next level in your business and things change. So I think it's whether you're new or you're not, like take a beat and ask that question and do a self little check-in. I think that's great.
Awesome. Thank you for putting me on the spot.
Of course, that's what I'm here for. And I'm gonna put you on the spot one more time because at the end of the show we always awkwardly sing out and it's just the worst part and best part of my day. We're gonna sing together. Yes, I said sing. Thank you for joining us on the Ready Set Coach podcast. So you just need to join me on the Ready Set Coach podcast. You can rap it, you can belt it, you can whatever comes out. So here we go. Thank you
Yep.
for joining us on the
On the
Ready
Ready, Set,
Set Coach
Coach podcast.
podcast. See, it's so awkward. I love it. Bye, guys.
Bye.